Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, we give infinite praise. Call hello, Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Dash, and of course, double honors go out to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, all right, who continue to teach us His truth through the Holy Spirit. All right, this is Nam out of the DC camp, and what I'm going to do is play this song here. This is from years and years ago, but it's part of this video I'm going to show you. Cape Creole and the Coconuts. It's called Stool Pigeon from 1982. Joked about the good old days. That's enough. They probably gonna give me, I don't give a crap. But the reason I did that, oh man, it's nice to see. All right, this guy here, turns out he was an informant. That's the Proud Boys hate group leader, Enrique Tarrio. Alright, it says prolific. And I went here to get the definition of prolific. Alright. Let's see. Let's go free dictionary. The reason I'm laughing is because here it is. And it's nice to see this in other groups because our people are, when it comes to stuff like this, often case to use as a prime example. Well, they don't stick together and all this. And here it is, someone that doesn't appear to be of their people, and yet they chose to follow them, and it turns out, here it is, it says prolific. Alright, as an adjective it says producing offspring or fruit in great abundance. Alright, fertile. Alright, so he was, wow, he was very productive. Let's see. It says producing is a more accurate one. Number 2, producing constant or successful results. All right. Rich. All right, that's enough. Let's go to, let's see. Yeah, I thought I had something else. But let me read you the words to that just in case. Alright, here's the chorus. It says there's a gentleman that's going around turning a joint upside down. Stool pigeon. Ha-cha-cha-cha. He's an old ex-con that's been away. Now he's back. No one's safe. Stool pigeon. Ha-cha-cha-cha. Verse 1, it says, if you want to squeal, said the FBI, we can make a deal. make it worth your while. So he told it all, and in return, he got a credit card and a Thunderbird. At maximum security, even after plastic surgery, so go on and squeal, said the FBI. We can make a deal, make it worth your while. That's it. Okay, verse 2, it says, after all the talk, then they wired him, and he took a walk with his crooked friends, and they joked about the good old days, and he recorded it on reel of tape. He caught the mug who did in the forgery, and the babe in charge of larceny. So the FBI, they rewarded him because they liked a guy who would stab a friend. Wow. Once again, that Stool Pigeon, Kid Creole, and the Coconuts. All right, from 1982. All right, so here it is. Exposed. Proud Boys hate group leader Enrique Tarrio was prolific FBI police informant. This is from Democracy Now!
Now, the Quarantine Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh. We end today's show with a stunning story about the Proud Boys, the violent, Trump-supporting, far-right hate group that took part in the Capitol insurrection 3 weeks ago. Reuters revealed Wednesday the group's leader, Enrique Tarrio, has a past as a prolific informer for federal and local law enforcement, repeatedly working undercover for investigators. Reuters cites the transcript of a 2014 court hearing where a prosecutor argued for a reduced sentence for Tarrio in a case by telling the judge, quote, I've never had a client as prolific in terms of cooperating in any respect.
Never had a client that was
the news comes just over 3 weeks after Tarrio was arrested in Washington prior to the insurrection for burning a Black Lives Matter banner at a historically black church in Washington, D.C. during a December protest. Tarrio also faced weapons charges because he had illegal high-capacity magazines of ammunition on him at the time of the arrest. Enrique Tarrio has led the Proud Boys since 2018. For more, we're joined by Aram Roston, investigative journalist at Reuters. His exclusive report is headlined, Proud Boys leader was prolific informer for law enforcement. So, Aram, talk about the significance of what you found, who exactly he is, and also interesting that he was arrested right before the insurrection, so he couldn't take part in it. Tell us the story from the beginning.
Classic science.
So, Enrique Tarrio is, of course, the leader of the Proud Boys. He's very high profile now. We've all seen him in videos of leading the Proud Boys in Portland or Washington, D.C. and in prior rallies, they call them. Of a hearing he had for a 2012 case, criminal case in Miami, a federal case in Miami. In that hearing, as you mentioned, it was an effort to reduce his sentence, a 31 sentence, by telling a federal judge about the extent of his cooperation. The federal prosecutor, an FBI agent, and his own defense lawyer listed sort of numerous cases in which Enrique Tarrio had cooperated with local authorities and investigations, including multiple undercover investigations, they said. And on the federal level, they said he helped put 13 people, prosecute 13 people on federal cases. We thought the significance was because, of course, his current organization, the Proud Boys, is very closely linked to this, to the investigations that's going on now by the FBI into what happened at Capitol Hill on January 6th.
So, Enrique Tarrio told Reuters, quote, I don't know any of this, I don't recall any of this. But after your story broke, he wrote on Telegram, quote, the article sensationalizes the fact that in this case there was some heavy cooperating. He went on to say he had, quote, addressed this before in podcasts and other interviews, unquote. Tarrio also wrote, quote, they've proven that if you cooperate with the U.S. government, they will hang you out to dry. So my question is it worth it? Can you talk about his response and also the history of the Proud Boys, who they are, this violent, white, supremacist, male, chauvinist, murderous group, killed law enforcement,
Going to male chauvinism.
California, for example, Officer Underwood.
Well, I'm not sure if the Proud Boys was involved in that case or not. But
Boogaloo Boys, that's right. Boogaloo Boys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Boogaloo's, which are a different sort of movement. That said, the Proud Boys have been involved in many violent clashes, and obviously in the January 6th case, they were founded really in 2016 as this sort of opposition to what the so-called political correctness, and this idea that it would give men who were silenced a voice and these sort of things. And it was they often call themselves a drinking club, and then they'll say the drinking club with a patriotism problem. That's the way they often define themselves. But they've been evolved into a pretty powerful political force. And you've seen them. Enrique Tarrio, he's been photographed with numerous sort of political heavyweights. He took over in 2018, and when I say took over, he was elected as their chairman. He's the most vocal person affiliated with them. He's the most recognizable person with them. You mentioned his response here. It's clearly at odds. We're relying on a federal, a court hearing, a transcript of what actually happened in court. Assistant U.S. Attorney, his own lawyer, and an FBI agent go through these issues of cooperation with the government, which included, as we said, his own lawyer described this undercover operation where he purportedly was trying to, again, at the lawyers at his own risk, to pay people to bring in sort of a imaginary, to agree to bring in people to do something illegal, and he was doing this undercover. So we thought this was significant because of the way the FBI is looking at him at the agency, at the Proud Boys now. You mentioned his criminal case. The first criminal, he was arrested in 2000 in January 4, 2021, just days before January 6th, when everybody knew something was going to happen. People thought it was going to be a large rally at the time. That's what the public was told. He was arrested, and later the FBI said it was sort of his arrest was sort of part of an effort to preempt anything that might have happened. We don't know exactly what they mean. That's what they said. As you said, he was arrested on really a misdemeanor charge of burning this Black Lives Matter banner. He admitted to that on social media. He said he knew he was going to be arrested in D.C. Yet he did have on him, according to the charging documents, and he had these high-capacity magazines, which are specifically and well known to be illegal in Washington, D.C. They were magazines, rifle magazines, with Proud Boys insignia on them.
Well, the Department of Homeland Security has been warning of a heightened threat of domestic extremist violence from people angry at Trump's election defeat and inspired by the storming of the U.S. Capitol earlier this month. What role do you think the Proud Boys played in that, and the larger threat of white supremacist violence in the U.S.? What will happen to this group now under the Biden administration?
It's really hard to see what will happen with them. I mean, clearly there's lots of groups out there. I mean, we've become
almost stuck right there. I just posted some links. It's almost over anyway.
The Oath Keepers.
Well, you know what? I'll just go ahead and let it play out.
The Proud Boys.
2+
what role they played, and I don't know, but it is clear from some of the arrests that took place over the Capitol Hill riot that resulted in 5 deaths.
Hopefully we can tell this was all set up.
At least 5 Proud Boy members, or known Proud Boy members, were arrested, and so they're embroiled. They're clearly part of that investigation.
And do you have any information that Enrique Tarrio is an informant today?
No, certainly no. We do not have that information. An informant is a term of art, right? He was
for law enforcement. That does it for our show. Tune in tomorrow when we look at the new film, My Name is Polly Murray.
Whoa! See how these devils work? Alright? Manipulation, deceit, by any means, alright? But they're not as, what's the word I'm looking for? No, we're at the stage now where everything is being exposed. Their tricks don't work as well as they used to, alright? More people, I should say, are seeing things for what they really are, because that veil has been lifted, alright? And you have to wonder, wow, the level of deceit here. Wow. Clearly they got Trump out the way. And he made it so easy, you know. But Trump, wherever else he was not a globalist, alright? And the idiots that, the majority of which were Jakes. Again, the level of manipulation this past election cycle, my goodness, alright? But a lot of Jakes are on that plantation, that Democratic Party. You shouldn't be involved anyway, because none of this has been good for my people from the jump, alright? And our people just can't get that through their thick skulls, alright? And here you see, clearly they wanted a globalist, alright, in there, and they got him. So he's rolling back all the things that Trump did. Now you're going to have a bunch of freaks, things coming into restrooms that shouldn't be there, and other stuff. They're already rioting in, Puerto Rico now. Just came over the air because of gender wars or some shit. Alright. Hey, this is going to just help speed things up. Let's get some scriptures. I went on way too long. Let's start at Psalm 64:1. It says, to the chief musician, a psalm of David, hear my voice, O Most High Yahweh, in my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. Alright, clearly that is the case. Alright, this C-19 mess that's, been going on the last 10 months, alright? People are just worn out, and as the last video I did with this doctor from down in Texas is talking a lot of smack, and clearly they've been waiting for Trump to get out the way, alright? So things are going to ratchet up, trust me on this, alright? They're linking our people to the Proud Boys because they're saying, well, or blending the two when they shouldn't have been. Our reason for not wanting to get vaccinated is different from those individuals, alright? Republicans / Proud Boys, that crowd, but they don't care about that. They're just want to lump us in the same group to make it easier for, all of us to catch it. Alright, once again, this is Psalm 64:2. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows. The media is a big part of this, alright, in trying to convince the people that this is real. This is gaslighting on a global scale. Let's go get the definition here. Gaslighting, alright, is a form of psychological manipulation in which a person or a group covertly sows seeds of doubt in a targeted individual or group, making them question their own memory, perception, or judgment. It may evoke changes in them such as cognitive dissonance or low self-esteem. You see a lot of that with our people. For someone to have you put on a face diaper, drive around in your own car by yourself, windows up, alright, self-contained, contained environment, and you're still scared about catching something that isn't there. All right. It may evoke changes in them such as cognitive dissonance or low self-esteem, rendering a victim additionally dependent on the gaslighter for emotional support and validation. They say it's so, it's got to be so, no question about it. Continuing on, it says using denial, misdirection, contradiction, and misinformation. A huge psyop, in other words. Gaslighting involves attempts to destabilize the victim and delegitimize the victim's beliefs. Another word of this is torture. Alright? Instances can range from the denial by an abuser that previous abusive incidents occurred. What's been coming up lately in regards to our people? Tuskegee experiment. Well, things now are, of course that was in the past. We even got Jake's, what was the one? This one, Jake was in a wheelchair holding up a sign, said trying to, what was the words? Trying to restore the trust lost through the Tuskegee experiment. I'm paraphrasing. These coons, you know, Hank Aaron, he gets it two weeks later, he's dead, you know. This is your enemy here, all right, and that's what our people don't realize. And a big reason for that, Christianity, the doctrines and the doctrines of the enemy, the wine. All right, this instance can range from the denial by an abuser that previous abusive incidents occurred, by belittling the victim's emotions and feelings, to the staging of bizarre events by the abuser with the intention of disorienting the victim. Like I said, the media is a big part of this, constantly showing what? You got these hospital scene stage on stage. They just might have nothing to do with what they tell you it has to do with. All right, you're seeing nurses all, you know, with the face mask and shields and, you know, in the gear, PPE all down, you know, and even to the point where you see cadavers being loaded up, whatever. You know, all this to play on your emotions. That's what this is talking about. It says the goal of gaslighting is to gradually undermine the victim's confidence in their own ability to distinguish truth from falsehood, and that's what's been going on. Right from wrong, or reality from delusion, thereby rendering the individual or group pathologically dependent on the gaslighter for their thinking and feelings. Take the shot. It's for your own good. Take it. The term originated from the British play Gaslight, 1938, performed as an Angel Street in the United States in its 1940 and 44 film adaptations, both titled Gaslight. The term has now been used in clinical psychological literature as well as in political commentary and philosophy. Alright, and you can read the rest for yourself. But that's what's been going on. Alright. These devils are very clever. Alright. Wow. Wow. Alright. Let's go to, like I said, they got who they want in there now. So you can kind of, I don't know, they might be playing, what was that, McFadden and Whitehead song, Ain't No Stopping Us Now, that Jake's like to play. Alright, at least they think that's the case. This is Psalms chapter 109, verse 2. It says, for the mouth of the wicked and the mouth of the deceitful are open against me. They have spoken against me with a lying tongue. Alright, like I said, they're trying to lump us all together. Alright, now here's the thing. what they initially had hoped for with Jake, with the protests last year, all these police killings of Jake in the streets, and mysteriously you would see these pallets of bricks show up like almost magically. But Jake didn't take that bait, and we had video evidence of agent provocateurs paying people off. Do this, do that, break that window. Even saw some police officers that were later identified as police officers breaking windows to initiate shit. Alright? Manipulation, as we were talking about as part of that gaslighting. Alright? All these things. Alright? But Jake didn't take the bait. The irony here is the people that have been making fun of Jake, they're the ones that took the bait. Alright, it actually helped kick this thing off because, like I said, they got who they wanted in there. Whatever you say about Trump, he was not a globalist. Alright? And I'm not jumping on that bandwagon, believe me. Alright, I can't even stand to hear his fucking name. But able to look at the big picture, alright, you can see how this was set up. And the big loser, guess what? The so-called American people. Because clearly the elites are pulling the plug on this case. On this corporation called America. Alright? They're through with it. It's accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. Alright? So, hey, with that, once again, here's the article. Exposed. Proud Boys hate group leader Enrique Tarrio was prolific FBI and police informant. They said they'd never had one as successful as this guy. Oh boy. Alright, so with that, hey, I hope this video helps edify whoever views it. That's what we're here to do. Try to wake up the remaining hopeful elect. Alright, because this place is falling fast. Alright. So with that, call Hello Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua by Hashem Dash. And of course, once again, double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Alright, who continue to teach us this truth. Alright. Through the Holy Spirit. So with that, Shalom.